When we speak of confidence, we are not speaking of arrogance. We are speaking of a quiet strength, a way of being that radiates certainty without the need to prove or compare. Confidence is not something you borrow from the outside world. It is something you build patiently from within. Today, I will share with you 7 steps to becoming the most confident version of yourself. Step 1. Master your inner voice. The journey to confidence begins not with the outer world, but with the inner dialogue that lives in your mind. Every thought you allow to repeat becomes a thread in the fabric of your identity. If your inner voice whispers words of doubt, you will shrink. If it repeats words of strength, you will rise. The challenge is that most people are not aware of this voice. It runs unchecked, playing old stories of failure, criticism, and fear. To master your inner voice is to step into awareness, to notice what is being said inside you, and to take responsibility for reshaping it. This voice is powerful because it is constant. Long after the noise of the outside world fades, the conversation within continues. It speaks when you wake, when you walk, when you sit in silence. If it tells you that you are not capable, you will hesitate before you even begin. But if it tells you that you are strong, capable, and growing, you will act with conviction. Confidence is not only about what you show to others. It is the tone you consistently set with yourself. The more you strengthen that tone, the more your actions will naturally align with courage. To master this inner voice, you must first listen to it without judgment. Sit quietly and observe. What is the language you use when speaking to yourself? Do you encourage yourself as you would a close friend? Or do you attack yourself as if you were your own enemy? The truth is that many people speak to themselves in ways they would never dare speak to another human being. Awareness is the first step. Once you hear the voice clearly, you can begin to guide it, just as a teacher guides a student. Then, discipline must follow awareness. When a thought arises that weakens you, you must interrupt it. Do not allow "I can't" to settle in your mind. Replace it with "I will learn." When your voice says, "I am not enough," answer it with, "I am becoming stronger every day." This is not empty affirmation. It is the redirection of mental energy. The brain learns through repetition. Just as doubt grows when repeated, confidence also grows when repeated. You are training the voice step by step until it becomes a companion instead of an opponent. It is also important to recognize that mastering the inner voice is not about silencing fear completely. Fear will always try to speak because its job is to protect you. But your task is to take leadership over that voice. Imagine fear as a passenger in your vehicle. It may speak, it may point to dangers, but it does not hold the wheel. You do. Confidence is built when you consistently choose to drive forward, even with that voice present, refusing to let it control your direction. Over time, as you reshape the dialogue inside your mind, something shifts. You begin to notice that hesitation lessens and self-belief rises. Decisions come easier because doubt no longer clutters them. You carry yourself differently, not because the world has changed, but because you have changed the voice that guides you. Mastering your inner voice is the first step, because without it, the other steps will collapse. With it, every step that follows will stand on firm ground. Step 2, strengthen the body, strengthen the mind. The body is not separate from the mind. They are deeply connected, like two strings of the same instrument. When one is weak, the other cannot resonate fully. Many people search for confidence only in thoughts and words, yet forget the vessel that carries those thoughts. The body. When the body is neglected, fatigue and weakness weigh down the spirit. But when the body is strong, when it moves with energy and balance, the mind naturally follows with clarity and confidence. The foundation of a powerful presence begins with the care of the physical self. Every movement you make sends a signal to your mind. When you slouch, when you move without awareness, you reinforce hesitation. But when you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with purpose, you send a different message that you are ready, that you are capable. This is why posture matters. This is why exercise matters. It is not simply about muscles or appearance. It is about shaping the way your mind perceives itself through the body. The way you carry your body shapes the way you carry your thoughts. Discipline in the body becomes discipline in the mind when you train your body through consistent practice, whether through exercise, martial arts, stretching, or even walking with awareness. You are teaching yourself to endure discomfort. You are learning patience, persistence, and self-control. Each repetition, each drop of sweat is a message to your mind. I can endure. I can push further than I thought. And this endurance translates into life itself. When challenges appear, the mind remembers what the body has practiced. It remembers that struggle can be faced and overcome. Breath is another bridge between the body and the mind. Notice how shallow, restless breathing makes the mind anxious. Notice how deep, calm breathing steadies the spirit. Through the breath, you take command of both body and thought. When you control your breathing in difficult situations, you remind yourself that you are not a victim of stress. You are its master. This is why so many traditions, ancient and modern, place importance on breathing techniques. A confident person is not one without tension, but one who knows how to breathe through it. The foods you eat, the rest you allow, the routines you maintain, all of these choices feed the relationship between body and mind. To feed the body with poor fuel is to weaken the mind. To neglect rest is to rob the mind of clarity. But to treat the body as a sacred tool is to sharpen the mind's blade. Confidence is not born from an exhausted, restless state. It is born from energy, vitality, and balance. When the body is alive with strength, the mind finds it easier to stand firm against doubt. Over time, as you strengthen the body, you will notice a shift in how you carry yourself. You will no longer walk into a room quietly wishing to disappear. You will walk upright, with presence. Not because you told yourself to be confident, but because your body has been trained to embody strength. The mind will echo what the body practices. And this unity creates a confidence that is not forced, but natural, flowing through every movement, every step, every breath you take. Step 3. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Confidence is not built in public. It is built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It is built in the agreements you make with yourself and in whether you honor them. Every time you promise yourself something, whether to wake early, to complete a task, or to stay disciplined, you are making a contract with your own spirit. And every time you break that contract, you weaken the trust between your mind and your actions. Confidence fades not because of what others say, but because deep inside, you know whether or not you keep your word to yourself. When you tell yourself you will do something, and then you follow through, a powerful message is sent. I can rely on me. This is the root of inner strength. External praise may come and go, but when you know that your own word is unshakable, you walk with stability. On the other hand, when you repeatedly make promises you do not keep, you train yourself to doubt. You begin to hesitate, not because of others, but because you do not fully believe in your own commitment. Confidence, then, is nothing more than self-trust practiced again and again. It is not about the size of the promise. It is about consistency. If you say you will rise 10 minutes earlier, then rise. If you say you will drink more water, then drink. These may seem like small matters, but each small victory is a stone laid in the foundation of your self-belief. Over time, those small victories build into an unshakable structure. People often search for grand achievements to feel confident, but true confidence comes from simple disciplines repeated until the mind knows. When I say, I will, there is a weight you carry when you betray yourself. You may not speak of it, but you feel it. An invisible heaviness that follows you. It whispers, you cannot be trusted. You are weaker than your word. And this weight grows heavier each time you break your own commitments. To lift it, you must begin again, gently but firmly, with one promise you choose to honor. The moment you complete it, you will feel the weight shift. The chain begins to break, and trust begins to return. This practice is not about perfection. No one keeps every promise without fail. It is about honesty and recovery. When you fall short, admit it. Learn from it, and return again to discipline. The mind does not demand that you never fail. It demands that you do not surrender. In this way, each failure becomes another chance to strengthen the bond with yourself. Confidence grows not from never falling, but from showing yourself that you will always rise again. And as this trust deepens, something powerful awakens within you. You no longer need constant encouragement from the outside, because you have become your own source of strength. You speak less of what you will do and more of what you have already done. You radiate certainty. Not because the world guaranteed it, but because you know that your own promises are sacred, and a person who trusts themselves fully cannot help but move through life with unshakable confidence. Step 4. Embrace discomfort as a teacher. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They believe that confidence will come when life becomes easy, when fear disappears, when challenges no longer stand in their way. But the truth is different. Confidence does not grow in comfort. It grows in the moments when you are stretched, when you are tested, when you step into what feels uncertain. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It shapes you in ways that comfort never could. Think of a muscle. If you never challenge it, it remains weak. But when you push it against resistance, when you allow it to strain and struggle, it grows stronger. The same is true of your mind and spirit. Each time you face discomfort, whether it is speaking in public, learning a new skill, or standing firm in a difficult situation, you are training the muscle of courage. At first, it feels heavy, even unbearable. But over time, what once felt impossible becomes natural, and your capacity for confidence expands. When discomfort also strips away illusions. When you step into a challenge, you quickly learn what you are capable of and what you must still improve. Many avoid discomfort because they are afraid to see their limits. But confidence is not pretending you have no limits. It is accepting them, working through them, and slowly pushing beyond them. In this way, discomfort becomes honest feedback, showing you where your strength lies and where growth is needed. Fear will always try to stop you at the door of discomfort. It will whisper, "You cannot do this. You are not ready. Stay safe." But confidence does not mean the absence of fear. It means action in the presence of fear. Each time you walk forward anyway, you send a message to yourself. Fear is not my master. And every time you do this, fear loses a little of its power, and your self-belief grows a little stronger. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop asking, "How can I avoid discomfort?" and begin asking, "What can I learn from this discomfort?" This question transforms struggle into opportunity. Suddenly, failure is not a punishment. It is a lesson. Rejection is not humiliation. It is redirection. Setbacks are no longer obstacles. They are training grounds. In this way, discomfort ceases to be something you run from and becomes something you welcome as part of your growth. With practice, you begin to notice that discomfort no longer feels like chaos. It feels like a signpost. It points you toward the areas of life where confidence is waiting to be unlocked. And when you embrace this truth, you will no longer fear walking into the unknown. You will walk with curiosity, with strength, with resilience, knowing that every uncomfortable step is shaping you into the most confident version of yourself. Step 5, surround yourself with strength. The people you allow into your life are not neutral. They either lift you higher or pull you lower. Confidence does not grow in isolation, but neither does it flourish in unhealthy company. If you walk with those who constantly doubt, criticize, or belittle, their voices will slowly echo inside your own mind. But if you walk with those who encourage, challenge, and inspire, their strength will feed your strength to become the most confident version of yourself. You must choose carefully the circle that surrounds you. Human beings are deeply influenced by environment. Even the strongest mind is shaped by the words and attitudes it hears most often. If your circle speaks only of fear, you will begin to fear. If your circle speaks of growth, you will begin to grow. Confidence thrives in an atmosphere where progress, resilience, and discipline are celebrated. This is why it is said, "Show me your friends, and I will show you your future." The company you keep is a mirror of the person you are becoming. But surrounding yourself with strength does not only mean finding people who cheer for you. It also means seeking those who challenge you, people who will not let you settle into mediocrity, who hold you accountable to your potential. True confidence is not built in flattery, but in honest reflection. A strong circle reminds you of your weaknesses, not to discourage you, but to push you toward growth. They help you see where you can rise higher, and in their presence, you naturally expand. Sometimes, this step requires courage in letting go. You may realize that certain relationships, though familiar, no longer serve your path. This is not an act of cruelty, but of protection. To walk with those who drain your energy is to carry unnecessary weight on a long journey. Releasing such connections creates space for new ones. Connections that align with your values, your discipline, and your vision. Confidence is not only about saying yes to strength. It is also about saying no to what weakens you. At the same time, remember that strength is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is found in quiet mentors, in wise friends, or even in books and teachings that feed the mind. What matters is not the form, but the influence. Does it help you rise? Does it inspire you to keep moving? Does it remind you of who you are and who you can become when your environment consistently answers yes? Confidence becomes not a forced effort, but a natural byproduct. Over time, as you surround yourself with strength, you will notice that doubt no longer has the same grip on you. In moments of hesitation, you will hear voices that remind you of your ability, that guide you back to focus, that reflect the courage you sometimes forget you have. You will realize that you are not walking alone, but within a current of strength that carries you forward. And in this current, your confidence grows deeper, steadier, unshakable. Step 6. Accept that growth requires falling. One of the greatest barriers to confidence is the fear of failure. Many hesitate, not because they lack ability, but because they fear the pain of falling short. They believe that mistakes are signs of weakness, and so they avoid risks, challenges, and opportunities that could expand them. But the truth is this: every person you admire, every strong and confident soul you have ever seen, has fallen many times. Growth and failure are not separate. They are inseparable. To reject failure is to reject growth itself. Falling is not a signal that you are broken. It is evidence that you are moving. The one who never stumbles is the one who never walks forward. Each failure contains a lesson, a refinement, a chance to see more clearly what works and what does not. Confidence grows when you learn to stand back up, to carry the lesson, and to step again with greater wisdom. This cycle of falling and rising is the forge where unshakable confidence is created. The problem arises when people treat failure as final. They fall once and declare themselves unworthy. They stumble and believe it defines them forever. But failure is not a verdict. It is feedback. It does not say, You are not capable. It says, here is where you must strengthen. This shift in perception changes everything. Instead of running from mistakes, you begin to welcome them as necessary guides, each one pointing the way toward greater skill, greater understanding, and greater confidence. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall not once, but hundreds of times. And yet, no one tells the child, you should give up. Walking is not for you. Instead, we encourage, we smile. We know the falling is part of the process. Somewhere along the journey of life, adults forget this truth. They begin to treat falling as shame instead of training. But if you return to the childlike spirit of persistence, you will see that every fall is not failure. It is practice. Confidence deepens when you accept that falling does not diminish you. What matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you rise. Each rise makes you stronger than before. Each scar becomes a reminder, not of weakness, but of resilience. Slowly, you begin to see failure not as something to fear, but as something to use. You no longer ask, what if I fall? Instead, you ask, what will I learn when I do? And this question transforms fear into courage. Over time, when you embrace this truth, failure loses its power over you. It no longer paralyzes you because you know it cannot define you. You carry yourself with a calm certainty. I may fall, but I will rise. And this certainty is the root of confidence. For when you no longer fear falling, you become unstoppable. Every setback becomes fuel. Every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every step forward, no matter how uncertain, becomes a victory in the making of your strongest self. Step 7. Align with your purpose. Confidence that is built only on appearances or temporary success will eventually crumble. True and lasting confidence comes from knowing your purpose, understanding why you are walking the path you walk. When your actions are guided by meaning, hesitation loses its grip. You no longer move only to impress others or to chase approval. Instead, every step you take is fueled by something larger, something deeper, a sense of direction that belongs to you alone. Purpose is not always discovered in a single moment of clarity. Often, it is uncovered slowly, through reflection, through trial and error, through listening closely to what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what do I value? What do I wish to give to the world? What kind of person do I want to become? These questions act as lanterns, illuminating the path ahead. With each answer, however small, your confidence grows because you begin to see that your life is not random. It is chosen. When you live without purpose, you become easily shaken. Every opinion, every criticism, every setback feels like a storm that threatens to sweep you away. But when your purpose is clear, those same storms lose their power. They may still blow, but you remain rooted like a tree that does not bend because its roots run deep. Purpose does not remove challenges, but it gives you the strength to face them without losing yourself. Confidence rooted in purpose also changes the way you see fear. Fear may tell you to step back, but purpose reminds you why you must step forward. Fear asks, what if you fail? But purpose answers, what if you succeed in bringing this vision to life? In this way, purpose becomes the compass that always points forward. Even when the road feels uncertain, you may not know every detail of the journey. But when you know the direction, you walk with confidence. Purpose also expands confidence beyond yourself. When you know your actions are not only for your own gain, but for something greater. Whether it is to serve, to create, to inspire, or to uplift, your confidence takes on a different strength. You no longer move only for your own comfort. You move because others will benefit if you rise. This sense of responsibility transforms hesitation into action, and action into confidence. And as you live aligned with your purpose, you begin to radiate a calm certainty that others can feel. You no longer need to force confidence or prove yourself, because your life itself becomes the proof. Each step, each choice, each action flows with meaning. And in this flow, you become the most confident version of yourself, not by trying to be someone else, but by fully embodying the person you were meant to be.